Most people think wealth comes from working harder. But according to the Bible, that's not completely true. Because King Solomon was one of the richest men who ever lived, yet the secrets behind his wealth had very little to do with money itself. They had to do with mindset, discipline, silence, and understanding human nature better than most people ever will. Tonight we're uncovering 7 powerful secrets from Solomon that can quietly change the way you think about success, money, and your future. And one of these secrets may explain why some people slowly build wealth and peace over time, while others stay trapped in financial stress no matter how hard they work. So listen carefully, because this wisdom is ancient, but more relevant now than ever. Secret 1. Solomon protected his mind from distraction. In Proverbs 4:23, Solomon wrote, "Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it." Notice the wording, above all else, not after everything else, above all else, because Solomon understood something modern culture ignores. A distracted mind cannot build a stable life. Most people today are mentally exhausted, constant scrolling, constant comparison. Every day their attention is stolen by people they don't even know. And slowly, distraction becomes poverty. Not because they lack intelligence, but because they lack focus. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Poor people often live in reaction mode. Wise people live intentionally. That's why some people stay financially stuck for years. Not because they never had opportunities, but because they could never hold their attention long enough to build anything meaningful. And Solomon knew this. That's why he guarded his inner world carefully. Because what controls your attention eventually controls your future. Secret 2. Solomon understood the power of silence. This secret is dangerous, because most people sabotage themselves without realizing it. In Proverbs 17:28, Solomon says, "Even fools are thought wise if they keep silent." Now think deeper about that. Silence is power, especially in the early stages of growth. Most people announce everything too early. Their business idea, their goals, their plans, their next move. And the moment they speak, they start seeking validation instead of progress. But Solomon understood something wealthy people learn quickly. Real growth often happens quietly. A seed grows underground before anyone sees the tree. And many dreams die because they were exposed too early. That's why some of the most successful people move differently, quietly, calmly, without needing attention every 5 minutes. Because when your focus becomes building, you stop needing applause. And honestly, one of the fastest ways to delay success is constantly trying to prove you're succeeding. Secret 3. Solomon avoided emotionally expensive people. This one changes lives. In Proverbs 13:20, Solomon wrote, "Walk with the wise and become wise, for a companion of fools suffers harm." Notice that. Not might suffer, will suffer. Because people affect you more than you realize. Some people drain your energy, some drain your confidence, some drain your focus, and eventually, some drain your future. There are people who normalize chaos so much, you start believing instability is normal. Drama becomes normal. Financial irresponsibility becomes normal. Excuses become normal. And slowly, you adapt to the environment around you. This is why some people work hard, but never move forward. Because every time they try to grow, their environment pulls them backward. Solomon understood that wisdom is contagious, but so is foolishness, and one toxic relationship can cost years of progress. That's why financially wise people become extremely careful about who gets access to their mind, their peace, their vision. Because protection is part of prosperity. Secret 4. Solomon knew wealth is built slowly. Modern culture hates this secret because people want fast money, fast success, fast results. But Solomon wrote in Proverbs 21:5, "The plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance, but everyone who is hasty comes only to poverty." Read that again. Hasty people chase shortcuts. Wise people build systems. Most people destroy their future because they're addicted to immediacy. If success takes too long, they quit. If money grows slowly, they panic. If results are invisible, they lose discipline. But Solomon understood something powerful. Wealth built slowly is usually wealth that lasts. A tree that grows too fast often has weak roots, and many people become financially unstable because they wanted the appearance of wealth before developing the discipline to sustain it. Real wealth is often boring in the beginning. Quiet habits, consistent routines, repeating small disciplines nobody claps for. But years later, those quiet habits become freedom. Secret 5. Solomon valued wisdom more than money, because in Proverbs 16:16 Solomon wrote, "How much better to get wisdom than gold." Think about how strange that sounds today. Most people chase money first, not wisdom, not understanding, not character, just money, and that's dangerous, because money without wisdom becomes destruction. You've seen it before. People make more money, and their life gets worse. More anxiety, more ego, more chaos, more bad decisions, because income amplified who they already were. Solomon understood this deeply. That's why when God asked Solomon what he wanted in 1 Kings 3:9-10, Solomon asked for wisdom first. Not riches, wisdom, and the riches followed. That changes everything. Because maybe the breakthrough people need is not more money. Maybe they need a wiser mind, a calmer spirit, better judgment, more discipline. Many people want wealth. Few become the type of person capable of keeping it. Secret 6. Solomon warned about uncontrolled desire. This one is terrifyingly relevant today. In Ecclesiastes 5:10, Solomon says, "Whoever loves money never has enough, never enough." That's the trap. Modern culture trains people to stay dissatisfied, always wanting more, a newer car, a better phone, a more impressive lifestyle, and social media made it worse, because now people compare their real life to someone else's highlight reel every single day. And uncontrolled desire creates financial slavery. Not just financially, emotionally, spiritually. Because once desire controls you, peace disappears, contentment disappears, wisdom disappears. That's why some people earn more every year but still feel empty. Because money cannot heal insecurity, it only exposes it. Solomon learned this the hard way. He had wealth beyond imagination, pleasure beyond imagination, power beyond imagination, and still he wrote in Ecclesiastes that much of it felt empty without wisdom and purpose. A person who cannot control desire will never control wealth. Secret 7. Solomon discovered that peace is the real wealth. This is the deepest secret of all, and almost nobody understands it until life humbles them. In Proverbs 3:13-17, Solomon describes wisdom like this: "Her ways are pleasant ways, and all her paths are peace." Peace, not pressure, not constant anxiety. Most people are not chasing money, they're chasing what they think money will give them: security, freedom, importance, relief. But Solomon discovered something shocking. If peace is missing, no amount of money feels like enough. That's why some wealthy people still live terrified. Terrified of losing status, terrified of losing control, terrified of becoming irrelevant, because externally rich does not mean internally free. And Solomon understood that wisdom creates a quieter kind of wealth, a stable mind, a disciplined life, a peaceful spirit, the ability to sleep without panic, the ability to say no to unnecessary chaos, the ability to move without desperation. And maybe that's the real reason some people rise in silence, because they stopped chasing attention and started building inner stability. If Solomon were alive today, he probably wouldn't be the loudest person online. He wouldn't be obsessed with proving himself. He wouldn't chase every trend. He would observe more than he speaks. Protect his attention carefully, move patiently, build quietly, and value wisdom more than appearances. Because the people who build lasting wealth usually don't look desperate. They look focused, calm, difficult to distract. And maybe the life you want doesn't begin with more money. Maybe it begins with becoming harder to manipulate, harder to distract, harder to emotionally control. Because when wisdom enters your life, everything changes. Your decisions change, your habits change, your relationships change, and eventually, your finances change too. Because in a noisy world, the people who rise the highest are often the ones building in silence. If you believe God is preparing you for greater financial peace and wisdom, comment, "I will build quietly and rise wisely." Your season can change faster than you think.